Prey is the next movie we're going to talk about. It's on Hulu, not in theaters.
Oh.
It is another movie in the Predator cinematic universe.
Which is 90% shit.
Yeah.
I like the Subway commercials.
It's a matter of do you
That's good. That's good. That took a second, but yeah, that's a good one.
remember we were going to give
I don't know why that's so funny to me.
we were going to give Jesse Eisenberg. Trill wanted to give him a trophy that said Indianan of the Year or Hoosier of the Year,
Yeah.
and we were going to give him a trophy, and it was going to have just Jared Fogel's name crossed out a bunch of times. We never did that. Yeah. Prey, which is a prequel to Predator. It is the funniest, which I didn't think about this till I watched the review from Chris Stockman did a review on this, and I didn't even think about this, that the movie titles for Predator are just absurd. Yeah. Predator, Predator 2, Predators, The Predator, and now Prey.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest, this is the second Predator movie I've seen. I've had no...
Really?
I've never really...
Predator 2 is...
It's my third.
Predator 2 is such a wild contrast to Predator.
It's so bad.
I don't despise Predator 2. I don't hate it. Predators, yeah. And then the Predator we reviewed on this podcast.
You didn't even mention AVP or AVP2.
I'm not including. Well, they don't include those in the universe.
Those have to be part of the universe. It's got the Predator in it.
They don't include those in the universe.
Is it including the Alien verse?
Yes, it has to be both. It's crossover.
It's something like that. There's a weird way.
The reason that
we include it on our site because it's part of the movie, but they don't consider it part of that franchise.
The reason they even did that is because in Predator 2, they made when they go to the Predator ship, one of the skulls they have is an alien skull, because I think the guy who did the creature design for both, he's like, I'll just throw one of these in, and they're like, okay, let's just make a movie out of it. Well, I think that rocks.
I may be.
It became a comic series after that too, didn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
Predator 2 is, and let me be clear, it's really bad. But I actually don't for me, it's so bad it's enjoyable and good because it's so ridiculous. But it is really bad. I'd be shocked if I had it rated anything above a 30.
Mm-hmm. What's his name? Arnie just was like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not doing anything that's a sequel to Predator where we're just basically, I think the original script had Dutch turning into the villain of the movie. And you'd be fighting against him and the Predator. And he was like, why the fuck would I ever do that? And they're like, okay, we'll just do Danny Glover. Danny Glover.
That's such a good example of sometimes older camp, not even camp, stupid movies like that are worse movies, but more enjoyable. And yes, I was going to say, Predators and The Predator, probably better movies in terms of what's being made. But if you had to tell me to watch one of those two or Predator 2, I'd watch Predator 2 100 out of 100 times, which actually has a massive reference in this movie.
Yeah, that's true.
Massive Predator 2 reference in this movie.
Yeah, I missed it. I don't know.
We'll do it in spoilers just in case you're a big Predator fan. So yeah, this is a prequel to 1987's Predator. A skilled Comanche warrior set 300 years ago in the early 1700s, protects her tribe from a highly evolved alien predator that hunts humans for sport, fighting against wilderness dangerous colonizers and this mysterious creature to keep her people safe. Again, released on Hulu. I actually don't know if this was ever intended to be released in theaters.
It should have been. It was a great theater experience.
This is a movie I wish I would have seen in theaters.
Exactly.
I'll put it that way. Pretty bummed that I didn't get to see this in theaters. This was being developed during the production of The Predator in 2018. Came over to Disney when Disney bought Fox. Then it got released on Hulu. Director Dan Trachtenberg, who did 10 Cloverfield Lane, which I love. I love 10 Cloverfield Lane. I think that's an awesome movie. Also did some stuff with the Black Mirror as well, but this is his second directorial job. His fucking Wikipedia is hilarious. His personal life. Trachtenberg had a bar mitzvah. Then he is not related to actress Michelle Trachtenberg. I've never seen that in Wikipedia where they're not related to.
I actually do like that because there's a lot of times where I'll look up and be like, is this person related to this person?
So much you do at the Will
Euro trip?
Yeah. So much you do at the Will Smith Wikipedia. List every Smith that isn't related to Will Smith in his Wikipedia, who he is not related to.
Not related to Kevin Smith.
Yeah. So yeah, this is Prey. It is picking up a lot of steam. I don't know how to say her name exactly. Amber
Midthunder.
Midthunder? Yeah. Great name, by the way.
Yeah, she was on Legion.
She plays Naru, who is the young female protagonist in this movie. We will talk about a tweet that we saw.
Go woke, go broke.
A lot of people exposing themselves on social. I don't want that to be the main part of the review because the movie's too good to do that.
Yeah.
But we will talk about that. There are a lot of people exposing themselves as either not having really seen Predator or not understanding Predator,
Or not
which
watching Prey.
I'm not sure which is more embarrassing. Like,
Or just not having watched the fucking
if you haven't seen Predator, that's not embarrassing. But to cape for a movie you haven't seen is very weird. There's also underneath the tweet, there's someone who admitted to not even having seen this movie.
Yeah,
I was like, what are you doing here?
That happens a lot.
But
on the
Prey,
internet.
very unsuspectingly awesome movie. I oddly am not high on it, maybe as some people, but I still really liked it. It lands for me at an 82 out of 100. I really enjoyed it. Below the Elvises of the world, for those who are wondering. Also, Marcel the Shell with shoes on.
Oh yeah, we gotta talk about that later.
Shout out to Marcel. Vengeance, which I saw, by the way, which I really liked.
Yeah, I knew
Vengeance
you'd
is
like
awesome.
that with
I really-
multiple scenes in a Whataburger.
I really liked Vengeance is awesome. Prey, I have it an 82. There were some things in the middle I didn't particularly love, I will say that, but easily the second best Predator movie.
Without a doubt.
Just stripped down, raw, simple, and terrifying for what the Predator should be. Like really just got everything right there. Again, I am maybe not as high as some people are. This is very high up there for a lot of people, but easily the second best Predator movie. I really had a great time with this. And I said this to somebody this morning. I need to watch it again. I kind of think seeing it in theaters, I would have liked it a little more as well. I hated that I had to watch this on my TV.
There were a couple moments that were clearly made for a big screen.
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah.
Like a couple shots that was like, well, this was definitely shot with a big screen.
The whole third act. The whole third act was meant for a big wide screen.
I still really liked it. 82 out of 100. I really enjoyed Prey. Not as good as the first one, maybe, but still really awesome. Just a bummer that it was on fucking Hulu. What a oh, by the way, I might rewind for a second. Maybe next time Discovery Plus is an earnings call, or Discovery Warner Bros. Maybe be like, hey, we now allow you to rewind HBO Max without having to restart the fucking
the entire
application.
movie.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Ken Jack.
So I think the first thing I came away from this movie with is just that, like, the reason this movie is so good is because it's the first Predator movie to realize what Predator did that was so special. And to me, that's just simplicity. It's so easy. It's just simplicity. The plot of the movie is as basic as possible with as little subplot shit as possible. And I just think, like, the Predator versus Prey, with the Prey having improvised, train, and outwit the Predator. That is the simplest formula for a Predator movie, and somehow no movie since the original has been able to figure that out. And I think for this movie, this on the story end of things anyway, I really like how they went back to basics, because it's like a throwback in itself to Predator, the 1987 one. Because in that movie, the Predator is like, his whole thing is he's perfectly adapted to counter human technology and weapons and stuff, right? And to beat that, Arnie has to go back to basics, like human basics, like spears, bows, arrows, traps, and all that shit. And that's what they do in this movie. That's how they defeat the Predator in this movie. And I think, like, it kind of parallels to the sort of Predators, like, by using those, like, French trappers that they use in the movie, because, like, they're murdering all those bison for sport, taking trophies and all that shit, and, like, that disgusts our main character and, like, all the Comachis in general. Like, they're all like, this is disgusting behavior, like, why would anyone do that? I like how they sort of like, not parodied but paralleled it. And lastly, the action, so good. I think there's really great shots, cool weapons, and the Predator was badass as fuck. Like, he just looks so scary, and I think they did a perfect sort of, like, de-leveling or retrograding of his technology, from, like, the plasma caster thing to, like, the little needles or whatever. And I think that one of the biggest takeaways for me too is just, this was very surprising, like, surprisingly great, because when I watched the trailer, I would have bet anything that this was going to be terrible, because they presented it like, hey, here's a female empowerment movie where the character has to say out loud multiple times, I'm a girl, but I can do what guys do. And, like, I hate that shit, because it's like, yeah, we know that. You don't need characters to say it. Just have them do it and let the audience take that away themselves. But that is, like, so that sort of unsubtle messaging and all that other shit is so annoying, but it's not present really in this movie, which is great. And I think that benefited the movie a ton. Really liked a lot of the characters in it. Mid-Thunder was, like, okay, but I don't think, like, the actors they're more of a vessel for action than they are trying to, like, present, like, some crazy acting case. Dakota Beavers, who's the older brother, I thought was really good in, like, limited screen time. You think that's a funny name, Dakota Beavers?
Yes,
He's just thinking pussy
I
with
do.
beavers. Unbelievable.
He's good in the movie. He's good in the movie, but yeah.
He's good in the movie. I think the way that they sort of shot a lot of the action with like the still cameras, not a lot of shaky cam, a lot of like going over the shoulder for these crazy moves and shit. Cool. They act on the string, really cool. In the way that the Predator's tech, like using the shield as like a weapon, like an offensive weapon, I thought really awesome as well. Really, really enjoyed this movie. Like Jeff was saying, easily the best Predator movie since the original by far.
Yeah, for me, again, like it was some of the stuff in the middle, but a lot of it was kind of acting scripts, which is tough because I do think they were going for it to be good in that sense, right? Like I don't think this was like a full on like, hey, this is going to be like we just said it about Bullet Train, right? Like Bullet Train had a self-aware like ridiculousness. I don't like this. It felt not amateurish, but like a little
Took itself too seriously at points.
yeah, where which is fine, which I like that they did that, but I just don't think acting script wise it kept up with that.
Yeah.
She was great. She was like the physical stuff, all the physical and visual stuff in the movie was fucking fantastic. I will note that. Chris.
I really like this. Yeah, I'm with you guys. I think this Dan Trachtenberg's 2 for 2 as far as I'm concerned. I'm very, very excited to see where he goes from here. The one thing this movie does that the original did as well too is just like, and you guys have already talked about it, I don't want to cover it too much, but the Predator is just such a badass looking character. Like maybe the single most well-designed film antagonist ever. And he's so creepy in this. And what I appreciate about this film, especially in the modern age where everything has to be big, explosions have to be bigger, movies need to be louder, there's a fair amount of subtlety to this, especially in the first act where you don't really see the Predator until the second act of the movie. I mean, you see him kind of in shadow for a little bit, and obviously you see him when he's invisible. But it's got tremendous action. I mean, just badass action. It just goes to show, like, when it comes to action, I think budget is almost irrelevant. Like, if you know what you're doing and you can film an action sequence and you know where to put the camera, it doesn't matter if a movie costs $20 million or $200 million. You can make it look good. The complaints I have are some of the complaints you guys brought up, which is that the acting outside of the main character at points a little bit so. I thought kind of the rest of the tribe was a little bit wooden at points. I'm willing to forgive this part because you don't have a ton, but there's not a lot of some of the CG is pretty wonky. The Predator looks great, but there's a bear and there's some stuff that
the bear is a little tough. Yeah,
great mask.
The mask was so cool.
I did love when he just punched the bear square in the jaw.
That's what I love about the Predator, man. It's just
so fucking awesome.
And this movie as a whole, is it actually has some balls, like just openly. I know they're CG, but just like viciously murders animals multiple times in this movie. It's like that reminds me of that era of filmmaking where they just kind of didn't give a fuck and just made violent shit for the sake of violent shit. But the one big complaint I have is that the original Predator, what makes it so good is that those characters are really funny. Like they have some really good punch-up dialogue. Here, while I appreciate the movie's subtlety, I could have used a little bit more personality from the characters to really get you invested, to really get you to care. I'm not saying I'm asking for Marvel quippiness, and I appreciate the fact that the movie took itself seriously, but there are a few moments where it feels a little bit dry. But every time I felt that way, something insanely awesome would happen. I would immediately forget about like the complaints I had because the Predator was so badass in it. So, in even 80, same because I'm not sure if I like it more than Nope, but I gave Nope in 80, so I'm gonna give this an 80 as well. And for all my complaining, this has been a pretty good summer for movies. This is like the fourth or fifth movie that
it's been solid.
Yeah, where I was like, yeah, this is a good movie. Yeah, so. Good stuff. One of the bigger surprises of the year for sure.
You reminded me. I forgot to mention the dog was awesome. Great dog.
Oh yes,
great movie dog.
I will say that had so much anxiety. For the dog. I was like, the dog is gonna die, isn't he? I was like, if they kill his dog, I'm gonna give this movie.
Well, I mean, so it is kind of funny. Like that's now 2 movies in a row, or 2 out of the last 3 weeks. We've had a movie that were like, the idea of a predator is so prevalent.
Yeah,
like between this and Nope, and like taming a predator and taming the beast, and like ranking in the food chain and everything, and it's one of those odd surprise of the year for me because I didn't even know this existed until a couple weeks ago. So that's just a surprise that it even is the thing that it got released.
They didn't drop a trailer until like a month ago.
So
yeah, I mean,
what'd you think?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think it's almost as good as the original. I watched the original about 2 weeks ago for the first time in probably 12 years. One thing that did kind of confuse me, the English dialogue from the tribe, instead of making the decision to use Comanche speech, was kind of strange because it's like they're speaking kind of like they sound like they're from LA. I mean, at points they sound like they're from LA, and it just like kind of takes me out. This might have been a setting on my TV or my, I guess, Hulu, but when they're speaking French, did you guys get English subtitles?
No.
I got French ones, and I kind of wanted to know what they were saying because I didn't understand shit. But outside of that,
just because I watched it on the screener, I thought that was just like an issue with the screener.
Yeah, no, that was on Hulu too.
That's crazy.
So that was a weird decision to me. But outside of that, yeah, no, everything you guys say, I kind of echo. The action was fucking awesome. When he was chopping off people's arms, that was so cool, and their limbs, and like just chopped off their legs, and he just fell down to the ground. Yeah, I love that. The reviews are kind of wild online. You get everything from people saying like they love it, like high 90s, like second best, or some people have it in their top 3 of the year, like legitimate reviewers. And then you get other people that are like haven't even seen the movie, hate it. I saw one review that gave it half a star because of too much animal violence, too much violence against animals.
Okay. Frank Pita didn't like it.
Yeah, I mean, kind of.
Pita Malark actually, I guess, would have been the better joke there. Damn.
But yeah, all in all, a great surprise. This is what I wish more streaming movies were. I do wish the movie was on the big screen, but if
that's the tough thing,
it's like is going to be on streaming, if you're going to run with these like $40 to $60 million budget movies, and that's usually the range they go for these streaming films, this is what they should be. This is what it should.
If this is really good, is it because would the sequel be in theaters? Like
that'd be kind of
that's weird, so to be so wild.
I don't think they do. I think this didn't set up a sequel at all.
Oh, you know what Kroll said, which was very cool.
The post credits it did.
Fuck, there was a post credit.
Kind of. It was like in the cave paintings.
Kevin Feige, you've ruined movies for me.
Kroll brought it up on Twitter today. He's like, what if they just went back in time and had predators like killing a group of people where you want the predator to win? So like it's him versus Nazis or something.
See, yeah,
like, I would love the fuck out of that.
What are Predator 2 and the other Predator?
Predator 2 is in the 90s, but it's set in futuristic 90s because they filmed it like 1990. But it's set in 97.
I agree with you. I'd love to see just Predator against different groups. Like have him like
World's Deadliest Warrior. Like literally,
like do knights. Do you can do Vikings. You can do
Spikes,
pirates,
samurai. Like do
samurai.
Fucking Spikes, Deadliest Warrior.
Why not?
And just have him go back in time and fight all these guys. Have him fighting like Maoris. Have him fighting like fucking like literally anything. Like I would watch the shit out of any of those.
You got to watch Predator 2 because you'll get your different environments and settings in that one.
LA baby. It's the Predator versus Jamaican and Colombian drug lords. And also Danny Glover, who's the one good cop in LA.
So here's spoiler alert.
Predator goes to Broadway.
He kills the Predator at the end of the movie, and he is gifted the gun.
Yeah.
That we see in this movie.
And then like the gun with the inscription on it or whatever, the pistol.
Which actually that sets something up because if they have,
I was wondering about that
because the gun now has to get into the hands of the Predator. So that is more than the post credit. That is a bit of a nod and a setup. Yeah, I think it emulates. I like that they didn't fully just try to redo like when she was in the mud. You kind of like all right. Yeah, I like that it was more of a nod.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, I mean it's and there was a tweet. A really fucking stupid tweet. We'll make fun of this idiot.
With a graphic. That's
with
a graphic that was probably made. Well, to be honest, like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Once he saw that the movie was getting made, he probably made that graphic.
Women killing a predator.
He did vomit emoji #pray movie, which I'm glad he used. He used the movie marketing's hashtag hashtag emoji. It shows the cast of Predators as a team of highly skilled badasses with years of experience and almost no chance versus a predator. And then bottom says a girl with almost no experience beats a predator alone. But like
that's not what happened.
That's like you just don't. You didn't. I don't know if you didn't watch. I actually think this person watched Prey.
But they couldn't have because they said she beat it alone. There was like 50 people fighting this predator at one point.
That's true. But I'm more alarmed that this person's caping for the original Predator and very clearly doesn't know how the
I mean, it's just Arnold. Like
the Predator was beat alone by somebody who had to use mud.
He had to use native technology. He had to go back to basics.
And had to get rid of, like, the whole point is the Predator is the crazier being, and you can't use the guns and the weapons and
because he's perfectly capable. He's countered that as technology.
You ugly motherfucker.
Yeah. You should see what he says in fucking Predator 2. He's like, shit happens. He says he has like 50 phrases, the Predator. He's a real cut up. It's crazy.
Like, and so the big first reply, if you go to the tweets, is it's like someone said, "Didn't the last surviving badass only turn the tables on the Predator when he turned to Stone Age tactics?" Like, that's why this movie is awesome. Like, it really played into what we like about the original Predator movie. It just,
Exactly.
But that guy went viral, just getting dunked on left and right. People were like, "You fucking idiot!
Deserved it.
You fucking moron."
Thank God he did tag or hashtag the movie, because we would have never found it otherwid. It helped his SEO to get dunked on.
Yeah. Good thing you they used to be called the hash flag, by the way.
A hash flag.
Because when they debuted those, they debuted them during, I believe, the World Cup, and you would do. That's actually my favorite, when the World Cup and the Olympics happen, and they cross over, which is just going to happen in the fall. It's going to cross over with the World Cup. Is when you do like certain countries. It's really like certain college football teams.
Yeah.
Like abbreviations.
Yeah.
Like during the Olympics, like it was like you do UGA for like Georgia, but it's really Uganda. So like you have the Georgia football account tweeting about like like summer practice and everything,
qualifying
and
rounds.
recruiting as a Ugandan flag all over their Twitter page. Yeah,
Was that the 2010 World Cup that they did that with?
I would imagine, yeah.
yeah, 2010.
Yeah.
Yep, that's when they first did it.
Could have been.
South Africa, right?
Well,
I mean, the USA is hoisting the trophy this year.
I'm very hyped about them right now.
If you don't think the USA is winning the World Cup, you're a fool.
Bring it home.
You're
Bringing it
that
home,
was
yeah.
The Oakland Athletics. Whenever the Olympics happen, if they do hashtag athletics, it's just the athletics icon for the Olympics. The other one is Puerto Rico, Ecuador for ECU. Shout out to ECU if you listen. You go to Sup Dogs, that's what it's called, right?
Yeah, that's their big bar.
It's
Yep.
a big bar. That's why Mr. Beast used to go there.
Did he really?
Mr. Beast crossed 100 million subscribers and gave an island away to somebody.
That's disgusting.
I like Mr. Beast.
I love how he made real sweet games.
I love Mr.
Have
Beast.
you been watching What We Do in the Shadows?
Yes.
Did you hear that Mr. Beast joke?
No.
Made a
I-
Mr. Beast
I didn't see-
joke?
I didn't see the last
yeah,
episode
like
yet.
one of the main characters got turned into a kid, and he like acts like a kid, so he carries his iPad around, and he just annoy the shit out of people. He's like, "Have you ever seen Mr. Beast?"
I love that.
Young Colin is very funny.
He did a challenge he gave up on. He did a challenge where he was going to fast for 30 days. He wasn't going to eat any food, only water. But in the middle of the process, he recreated Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. So he can't eat any food. And then he went there, and then Gordon Ramsay showed up to cook, and he's like, "Fuck this! I just got to eat this food." I'm a massive pro Mr. Beast guy. He does nothing wrong. He's a cool dude. He gives away money.
This surely won't backfire.
Yeah.
I like I'm pro Mr. Beast. He's a Barstool guy too. He went up to our band Pop Punk, and he said to like Roan, he was not huge at the time. He was getting there.
I was
Definitely.
Like, he was there this weekend.
No, a couple years ago in wherever ECU is, North Carolina.
North Carolina, yeah.
Yeah. And he went up to, I guess, Roan or something. He said, "Hey, man, I'm like big fan of Mr. Beast." And I guess Roan on stage he's like, "Sir Beast" or something. He said it wrong on stage. And now he's like the biggest fucking thing on YouTube.
Yeah. Shout out him making Squid Games a reality. Everyone
that one
wanted
was-
And then Netflix just was like, "Oh, we'll do that. But
Yeah.
it won't be wholesome. It won't be fun whatsoever." Yeah. Anyway, that's Prey.
Good. The movies were good this week.
Movies
Yeah.
be good.
Yeah. Watch Predator 2.
It's on Hulu.
Come
If
on.
you want it.
Maybe.
It's
Come
real
on.
bad.
I'm working through Only Murders in the Building. Also, watch The Sandman if you haven't. Everyone
start
was
watching
saying
that.
Oh yeah, you tweeted about it, and then you posted from our account about it, and then Monica Lewinsky retweeted it.
I didn't see that one, but Neil Gaiman
Yes.
did. So that was the one I noticed. But yeah, Monica Lewinsky.
Yeah, Monica Lewinsky. It
She's
just
been watching The Sandman.
tossed us the retweet on that.
Monica Lewinsky, parentheses, she, her. I didn't expect otherwise, to be honest, but I don't think you need to clarify.
Yeah, tossed out the retweet on
I
LCD.
was shocked Netflix did a good adaptation of something that really not very adaptable, and they kind of nailed it.
Next week we are reviewing. I don't know what we're reviewing. It's a lot of streaming stuff next week. I know.
Cherry. What else we got?
We'll do something.
Isn't
Yeah.
Netflix dropping a movie?
You could do Marcel.
Well, they're doing Day Shift with
yeah.
Jamie Foxx. We can do that.
Yeah.
Do Bodies.
Yeah, it is going wide this week. It is going
I'm
wide.
telling you, it's
Shout out, by the way. I'll say it. When movies leak online after I see them in theaters, I like to pull them back and like scrub through and see some scenes. There's 2 scenes I want to see from Nope. Nope's still not online.
Yeah. They're really under wraps with that.
Yeah, they've done a good job scrubbing that because it's definitely a big enough movie and wide enough where it should be online. So, yeah, I wanted to go back and look at one scene, but I actually did see it 3 times. Remember, I have seen Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris is delightful. It's not anything amazing, but I did like.
Oh, we should review Summer of the Crawdads or whatever that is.
Where the
Crawdads saying I did not like that movie.
Summer of the
That has a wild gap between audience and critic score.
Oh,
One of
yeah.
the most wild
Books
I've
like
ever
that.
seen.
Yeah, books. I mean, it's a book club. It's a massive book club book.
Where the
13
crowd
Lives.
is.
That's streaming. 13 Lives by Ron
Oh,
Howard.
yeah,
That was
that's
pretty
right.
solid.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy. Like it was good. It was actually really good. It was a good
Did
movie.
you see the Photoshop picture of Colin Farrell for the Amazon banner ad? Like they couldn't get him, I guess, for the picture. It's
No.
so fucking funny.
And apparently, Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is pretty awesome too. If you like Ninja Turtle stuff,
Farrell.
which I do like. I do like the Ninja Turtles.
Was that an animated movie?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I like the animation of it a lot on the trailer, but I've not watched it yet. That's it. For Ken, Jack, Chris, Gooch, I'm Jeff D. Lowe. We will talk to you next week.